Welcome to the online series, Creating a Healthy Work Environment After COVID-19. Today we have with us Mr. Pedro Vargas. Pedro is the General Manager of Marriott Aruba Ocean Club. Pedro, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing good. Hello, everyone.
Hi, it's so good to see you. I'm going to ask Pedro to introduce himself and to give us, his life experiences. So, Pedro, can you go ahead and tell us a little bit more about you?
Thank you, Charlène. Well, I'm a hospitality professional, been in the business for the past 29 years. And I started as a trainee in hotel management administration and started through moving through the ranks in different areas of the operation. I've been in the operations for 29 years, as I mentioned, but I started in the kitchen, food and beverage, and then I moved to the front office, and then I did accounting, reservations, front office, and lately was director of operations of a large hotel, and now general manager. So in that process, I've been in different hotel companies and developed myself in these past few years.
Great. It's a great pleasure for me always to meet someone, not only that I know, but that I've seen you, how you have grown in your career in the hotel sector specifically, and being a professional in your area. So that's always great to see. And one of the things that I would like to ask you, and one of the reasons that you're here today with us, is to get your insights into COVID-19, specifically in the hotel sector. As we all know, it's so important to Aruba. How has COVID-19 impacted your organization, your people so far? Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Well, there is a couple of aspects. Obviously, everybody knows what the COVID-19 has brought worldwide, the restrictions on travel, the restrictions on free mobilization, and obviously this had a direct impact in our operations island-wide. At this moment, most of the hotel operations, restaurants, casinos are shut down or suspending operations to the public, while they continue to operate internally, but only with a limited amount of people, just to keep the buildings and the operations in place. Now, the second thing is that hospitality is about people, and definitely the impact of not being able to have contact with our guests and associates is what has the industry on a standstill at the moment. Soon enough, we foresee that there will be a lifting of some restrictions and travel will resume again. However, it's not going to be on the same fashion that we used to know. There will be many restrictions, many different approaches to the situation, and we as hospitality professionals need to be prepared for that. Before that, we need to make sure that our sites comply with the guidelines of the WHO and local bodies, and also from our corporate guidelines, to ensure that the safety of our guests and our associates are at the top priority. And then, in that fashion, we will modify our structure of business to be in compliance with what we call the new normal.
Yeah, the new normal it's obviously it applies to everyone in all different industries, but one would say specifically in the hotel sector or any service-related area, the impact that it will have in terms of your customer service, because it's more front-facing type of industries. How do you foresee, or what can you say, for example, that when it comes to the customer service aspect, one, taking care of your employees, so the part of creating a healthy work environment, but also for them to be able to give the service to your customers, while also ensuring a healthy environment for them. What are some suggestions that you may have in terms of how to prepare, or how to move forward, or how to, basically prepare for those upcoming situations?
My recommendations will be, first of all, being able to communicate and inform our guests of our new procedures based on the new normal. Hospitality by itself is about people and communicating. So if we are able to communicate in such a fashion that people understand how a few things have changed, for instance, we are not able to provide you with the hug and a handshake that we are used to, but we still have the opportunity to smile and say hello. Uh, so people might understand that behind that protective shield or a mask, there is a person smiling and waving at you, cannot touch you, but is warm and welcoming to you and assisting you with your needs. It takes the time because I do remember in the past when we were used to have at the banks tellers with protective glass cases, and that was for us okay. And later on, those barriers were removed and to what we know nowadays. Probably in that sense, we need to go back to what we used to when we have, in case, front office areas and concierge desk, that people can still talk and see each other, but they cannot touch or so. And the next thing is making sure that both your guests and associates understand the essence of all these changes, because we are trying to protect everybody. Health, safety comes first, regardless where you are a guest or an associate, we need to ensure that the safety comes into the first place.
And when it comes to safety for your employees, so do you believe that coming back on property as we are opening, as we're preparing and moving along, do you believe that there are some things that will help the transition from going from being at home, moving back into this new normal, where there will be so many changes? Because as we know, as you know, people being people and human,
Right.
changes and such could be a bit shocking as well. So how can you help the transitioning?
Well, very simple. We need to deploy our training tools in order to get our associates familiarized with the new normal. When somebody joins our company, they go through a process of onboarding and a very exhaustive training where, they tell you the conduct, code of conduct of the hotel, the standards for uniforms, etc. Now we need to go back and say these are the new standards for service and safety. So we just need to retrain the associates and let them also role play so they can feel comfortable with the new guidelines, as we call them, the new normal. So we are not just going to say the hotel opens tomorrow, everybody goes back at work as it used to be. No, before that, we need to have our associates fully aware and also make sure that they are comfortable, because they will be also the ones explaining certain guidelines to the guests when they come to the hotel, namely the restaurant. And so they need to be able to explain the guests what is new, what has changed, so everybody can comply.
I can just already picture, because our repeaters, our return guests, those who will come back because they love Aruba so much. And then especially, when they have been seeing you or meeting you for so many years, that I do think that regardless, this might a scenario. So imagine them, they haven't seen you for a while and they want to come and hug you and give you that handshake. That's might be challenging in a way in
It
terms
might
to
be,
address
but
that.
then it comes our ability to still remain friendly and hospitable, and at the same time maybe change our body language and signs by saying, I welcome you, I would love to hug you and kiss you, but unfortunately I can't for our own safety, everybody. But I definitely accept your greeting as warm as it used to be. And people will get used to it. We were just commenting earlier that maybe when we started with the protocols of COVID, nobody was used to do like this or get
Yeah.
your but now everybody seems like, hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And it's just about how you will introduce that new body language into your way of not dealing with the other people.
Definitely, it's going to be pretty interesting when we get our people back, our visitors and our customers. And I'm sure you look forward to that as I'm looking forward to that as well, to receiving back our visitors. When you think about crises, obviously there are some challenges, but then there are other things to consider as well, because yes, you will have challenges and yes, you have obstacles. Uh, but people do say, and I've heard this so many times, especially these days, that crisis situations actually can also create opportunities. Do you see this?
Yes, of course. While revisiting our the operations and processes across the industry, we come across with some opportunities to streamline processes and at the same time adapting to the new conditions of what we call the new normal also give us an opportunity to maybe low certain costs and expedite certain processes. When they say, for instance, you need to limit the amount of touch points that a guest need to have in your hotel, we immediately think about going digital in many ways. And thank God at this moment, the technology is allowing us to have several processes in place where guests can, for instance, do a self check-in in a hotel. They can download menus in our restaurants. They can check for hotel information
Mhm.
using their own mobile device. They can even open their hotel room without using hard plastic keys, but by using their electronic devices or maybe having an electronic RFID wristband. So those are the opportunities that we see in the industry. Also reinventing or improving in certain ways that we operating. For instance, the restaurants that were not used to do much of a takeout and delivery are finding themselves as a niche of opportunity to increase those sorts of revenues, and the hotels will follow suit.
Not and it's basically looking at different ways of, yeah, doing business, or new ways of doing business. But in that sense, the impact that it can have on the employees themselves in terms of new ways of working, would you say it goes hand in hand? And how would that go hand in hand, for example?
Absolutely. Obviously, at first, there is always some resistance and pushback because you've been doing things in a certain way for many years, and all of a sudden
Mhm.
you have to rethink everything and start all over again. But once you get used to it, you probably say, hey, this is a really good idea, and you will find yourself comfortable in doing the job that you always did with some changes or additions, and maybe also you are bringing new ideas to the workplace, yeah, to help us be more efficient while still maintaining the safety protocol.
There's a key word in management, not only now, but for a long time already. It's employee engagement, not only satisfaction, but loving what they do, being committed. Um, while it has been difficult so far, do you see that there are ways that we can keep up or even increasing the engagement level within our employees?
Absolutely. What is happening now is just an opportunity for us to keep that level of engagement high in our employees because, as you know, some people depend on their jobs, to, feed their families and bring their income for the household. In some scenarios, also, some people has been with our companies for so many years.
Mhm.
So this is part of their lives. Uh, Going through these difficult times and now seeing a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel is kind of the opportunity that many people were waiting for to come back and continue doing what they were doing. So they don't mind if there is new conditions and adjustment to be made on the workplace. The single fact that they are able to be back at work is going to be for them a tremendous and motivational tool. And we look forward to welcome them and obviously for them to keep on doing what they've been doing for many years.
I'm so happy to hear that, because it's all about loving what you do And creating that healthy work environment, that's definitely a big component of it as well. Is the happiness of your employees, is the engagement of your employees. And like you said, it's like almost coming back home, would you say?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's just like those tourists that look forward to come back to our destination year after year. You know, our associates are looking forward to return to the workplace and start all over again.
Great. Pedro, I would like to ask you, because we're coming to the end, I would like to ask you, is there any last or final thought or idea, suggestion that you would like to put out there to anyone that's looking at you right now?
Yes, I would like to suggest that everybody revisit what their regular day is been in the past prior to COVID. Many of us have the opportunity to rethink things over and maybe reschedule certain things that we deem it very, very important and we never had time to accomplish. So kind of put a balance in your life between your work and your social aspect, your family for that matter, but also learn that we cannot take things for granted. We are very fragile, and at any given time, things might change. So this is a really good opportunity for us to rethink things over and think more of a collective society about our building. What I do for myself impacts others. If I don't take care of myself, I will be impacting others as well. And that's a powerful lesson that we need to learn at this time because we are not there yet. We are not out of the woods. So reopening the business and coming back to a new normal doesn't mean that there is a cure for this virus and that there is business as usual. We still have to continue observing the protocols and be extremely careful now that we're going to have more people coming back into our destination.
Great. Good to see you again. Thank you so much for your insights. And obviously, all the best to you, your loved ones. And Pedro, once again, Mashadanki.
Thank you, Charlène. Looking forward to see you again.
Yes, absolutely. Bye.
Bye.